الليلة كيف مسيت ويا ملوك القليل نسيت حيراني باستلام لجسمي وخليته ما لو بيطير الخيال آتيت ليلة يا ليلى يا
The history and development of the Sudanese singing, the Haqiba songs. The audience will come to our second encounter in this documentary series, dedicated to exploring the history and development of Sudanese singing. In this episode, we continue our journey through the world of modern Sudanese song, turning our attention to one of its most significant and influential stages. Today, we travel into the rich and evocative realm of Haqiba songs, widely regarded as the earliest and most formative expression of modern Sudanese music. This encounter will take us back to the very beginning of Haqiba, examining the origins of its name, tracing its cultural and social roots, and uncovering the historical circumstances that shape its emergence. We will also pause to honor the pioneers and leading voices who laid the foundations of this refined and elegant art form, whose echoes continue to shape Sudanese musical identity to this day. Through this exploration, we aim to reveal how Haqiba songs marked a turning point in Sudanese singing, bridging tradition and modernity and opening new horizons for artistic expression. So, the audience, once again, I welcome you to this new encounter, to this new episode. Since we have started our speech on the historical beginning of the Sudanese singing, today we encounter and we meet again, having in our presence and focus the speech on the earliest form of modern Sudanese singing, and that is the Haqiba singing. So it is my great pleasure for the third time the audience welcoming you, and together we would like to share the roots of the name that is referring. I'm referring here to Haqiba songs, the origin of this art and this golden age of our history of singing in Sudan. Moreover, the fact that have played the role of contribution of this stage of our modern singing. Moreover, we also encounter the pioneers, the founders of this art, and finally, we would like to see the eternity of this art. So, if we would like to trace the history and the roots of the name Haqiba, just I would like to tell Haqiba meaning Briefcase or suitcase is the foundational style of modern Sudanese urban music that emerged in the 1920s. حقيبة الفن, a designation derived from the briefcase carried by the late media figure, the diplomat, the poet Salah Ahmed Muhammad Saleh, which contained the gramophone records of these songs. From this suitcase or briefcase, he would select the recordings he presented to audience through Sudanese radio. هنا درمان. However, according to the Sudanese poet and diplomat Salah Ahmed Muhammad Saleh, the story behind naming these songs Haqiba songs carries a deeply symbolic and historical significance. In more than one interview, he recalled that during the 1950s, more specifically 1953, the BBC allocated a 15-minute radio program to Arab countries, inviting each to present a glimpse of its singing heritage and musical history. When Sudan's episode was broadcast, it was met with remarkable admiration and wide appreciation from listeners. The audience response was so enthusiastic that many requested to hear more of Sudanese songs. In recognition of this exceptional reception, Salah Ahmed Muhammad Saleh was asked by Ustaz Naeem Basri, the chairman of the music unit on BBC, to prepare a special extended program lasting 45 minutes, the longest airtime ever granted to any Arab country at that time. He accepted the task with pride and began gathering the material, intending to open the episode with the immortal masterpiece of Khalil Farah, عز في هواك. However, to his great surprise and disappointment, he was unable to find a recording of the song that met acceptable technical and artistic standards. The absence of a clear, reliable recording of such a monumental work deeply troubled him, prompting him to abandon the idea of presenting the program altogether. At that moment, he reflected with concern that a heritage as vast and precious as Sudan's early modern singing should not be left vulnerable to loss and neglect. He became convinced that this artistic legacy deserved preservation, documentation, and protection for future generations. Upon his return to Sudan, he embarked on what he later described as a sacred mission to collect, safeguard, and archive this earliest form of modern Sudanese singing. From this noble endeavor emerged the foundation of what came to be known as Haqiba الفن, marking the true beginning of an organized effort to preserve this refined and influential musical tradition.
فرقتي الصوفية أمنا لا ترازق فيها تتعافى وتكون معفية
The audience, based on the above notes about the beginning of this form of singing, the modern Sudanese singing, حقيبة الفن, or the briefcase or suitcase of art, as a customary and terminological concept, refers to the body of songs that circulated in Sudanese singing from the 1920s until the early of 1940s, a period during which this musical style took shape and reached artistic maturity. The widespread use of the term حقيبة الفن is associated with the media figure, diplomat and poet Salah Ahmed Muhammad Saleh, who as the dawn of the national radio in Omdurman undertook the task of collecting these songs and presenting them into a radio program entitled في حقيبة الفن. He would keep the recorded discs in a suitcase, selecting from them the material for each broadcast. Thus, the name came to designate the content itself and became synonymous with it. However, scholarly and critical studies have not agreed on a single comprehensive definition of حقيبة الفن, as perspectives vary according to methodological approaches. Some researchers define it as the Song of Omdurman, viewing the city at the center of its formation and dissemination. Others regarded it as a specific historical period in which a group of poets came together and laid the foundation of this artistic mood, a definition that foregrounds transformations in poetic writing more than the act of singing itself. Within this context, the late Ibrahim Ahmed Abdel Karim described حقيبة الفن as the song of the interwar period, pointing to the social and political circumstances that frame its emergence. Meanwhile, Professor Al-Fatih Al-Tahir defined it as the first artistic school in the history of modern Sudanese singing, from which later schools and musical trends subsequently evolved. Bibliographical studies further demonstrate that حقيبة الفن can only be fully understood through a core group of figures who constituted its main pillars and shape its artistic features. So the audience following the speech on the roots, the origin of this type of modern Sudanese singing, in addition to the definition that have been provided by some experts in the field. Now the audience, I would like to introduce the notable, the prominent, and the most outstanding founders of this art. However, حقيبة الفن is rich with pioneering poets and singers who together form the foundation, indeed the cornerstone of Sudanese song. Their contributions established the essential artistic and principles upon which modern Sudanese music was later built. So among the founders of this art, I would like to draw your attention that three important elements have been part of this art. I'm referring here to the establishment of the art of حقيبة الفن. So we find the poet, the singer, and the composer. So just I would like to mention the most prominent among those figures. Here we go. Khalil Farah, 1849 1923. Ibrahim Al-Abbadi, born in the year 1849. Sayyid Abdul Aziz, 19 to 1967. Abid Abdul Rahman, 1982. Passed away in 1986. Abdul Rahman Al-Rayah, 1902. عمر البنا، صلاح السيد أبو صلاح، أحمد عبد الرحيم العمرابي، علي المساح، أحمد حسين العمري، محمد بشير عتيق. 1909. Born in the year 1909. محمد علي عبد الله الأمي، مواليد. He was born in 1931. أحمد عبد المطلب حدباي، محمد والضرادي، محمد أحمد سرور. Born in the year 1901. الأمين برهان، عبد الله الماحي، إبراهيم عبد الجليل، عطا كوكو، وأن محمد عبد الكريم. That is known as ثنائي أولاد الموردة، the sons of الموردة. عوض وإبراهيم شمبات، ثنائي شمبات. مرقن المامون، أحمد حسن جمعة، أحمد يوسف زنجار، جيغريو بطران and some others. So those are the most prominent figures among the founders of the art of Haqiba songs. So the audience following the speech on the roots, the origin of this type of modern Sudanese singing, in addition to the definition that have been provided by some experts in the field. Now the audience, I would like to introduce the notable, the prominent, and the most outstanding founders of this art. However, حقيبة الفن is rich with pioneering poets and singers who together form the foundation, indeed the cornerstone of Sudanese song. Their contributions establish the essential artistic and principles upon which modern Sudanese music was later built. So among the founders of this art, I would like to draw your attention that three important elements have been part of this art. I'm referring here to the establishment of the art of حقيبة الفن. So we find the poet, the singer, and the composer. So just I would like to mention the most prominent among those figures. Here we go. Khalil Farah, 1849 1923. Ibrahim Al-Abbadi, born in the year 1849. Sayyid Abdul Aziz, 19 to 1967. Abid Abdul Rahman, 1982. Passed away in 1986. Abdul Rahman Al-Rayah, 1902. عمر البنا، صلاح السيد أبو صلاح، أحمد عبد الرحيم العمرابي، علي المساح، أحمد حسين العمري، محمد بشير عتيق. 1909. born in the year 1909. محمد علي عبد الله الأمي مواليد. He was born in 1931. أحمد عبد المطلب حدباي. محمد والضرادي. محمد أحمد سرور born in the year 1901. الأمين برهان. عبد الله الماحي. إبراهيم عبد الجليل. عطا كوكو. وأن محمد عبد الكريم that is known as ثنائي أولاد الموردة the sons of الموردة. عوض وإبراهيم شمبات ثنائي شمبات. مرقن المامون. أحمد حسن جمعة. أحمد يوسف زنجار. جيغريو بطران and some others. So those are the most prominent figures among the founders of the art of حقيبة.
اضرب شمايل زعملوك وهم اكملوك عدبك بقى فيك مواهب بقى حسن الضبا وطبع الملوك يا جميل. في علو أكوكب منعزة في علو غريب غريب وشخصك بعيد بعيد أو كان قريبا نور وأخذ بدون سلوك تبرق سماعات في ضيحه بالله للحدوك. اضرب شمال زعملوك وهم أكملوك أدبك هبة فيك موهبة حسن الضبا وطبع الملوك يا حلاوي.
Factors shaping the formation of Haqiba songs. There is no doubt that Haqiba songs were formed and crystallized through several factors that are not often addressed. Yet, they are essential for tracing the phenomenon back to its roots. Among these factors is that Haqiba song emerged at a historical moment when people had begun to grasp the meaning of national spirit and when the early contours of Sudanese collective consciousness were taking shape. This is clearly reflected in many of its poetic texts. The Haqiba songs individual also witnessed the beginnings of awareness regarding education and learning, which led Haqiba as a musical and poetic tradition to enrich its experience through educated figures, most notably Khalil Farah. When discussing knowledge and its sources, it is necessary to return to individuals, poets, and singers alike. Beginning with primary knowledge acquired through early socialization and to examine how they drew from vastly different environments a unified system of shared values. From the far Nubian north, for example, from the region of the Prusa comes Khalil Farah, accompanied by a biographical narrative indicating that he memorized the Quran as the Khalwa, Quranic school of Sheikh Ahmed Hashim on Sai Island, and that he combined classical Arabic with colloquial speech, even reinterpreting colloquial vocabulary, thus revealing the impact of early upbringing within a distinctive cultural environment.
لك مدة ما بين
This biographical pattern memorization of the Holy Quran and exposure to languages and dialects recurs in the lives of many Haqiba poets, given that Haqiba flourished in a period when formal education was scarce. Khalwas, a cycle of Quranic recitation and remembrance, effectively functioned as schools, sharpening the intellectual awareness of the young. Close reading of Haqiba songs reveals the profound influence of religious education as one of the principal sources of knowledge shaping the worldview of Haqiba individual. On his impression and view towards Haqiba song, the late Sudanese prominent singer Osman Hussein, one of the earliest founders, by the way, to modern Sudanese singing. So Osman Hussein about Haqiba song or Haqiba period as an art of modern Sudanese singing says, Haqiba songs are songs whose success has been affirmed by the audience, for they continue to be repeated and sung, and there remains a strong public demand for them. They represent the reference point, the origin, and the identity of Sudanese song. When modern Sudanese song began to emerge, it was built entirely upon the formal and thematic foundations of Haqiba songs, the which is still for the late singer Osman Hussein. So he said, when modern Sudanese song began to emerge, it was built entirely upon the formal and thematic foundations of the Haqiba songs, while abandoning the system that had previously prevailed, namely the chorus-based structure. The result was the creation of songs with multiple sections and total variations. In this way, we were able to perceive Haqiba songs while developing them, which led to the emergence of new works with varied musical colors and themes closely aligned with those of Haqiba songs. From this perspective, I argue that the transition of Sudanese song from the Haqiba tradition to modern forms contributed to the development of songs while perceiving essential aspects of its thematic content. This is clearly evident in generation represented by Ahmad al-Mustafa, Ibrahim al-Kashif, Abu Dawood, Usman al-Shafi', Hassan Atiyya, and Aisha al-Fallatiyya. In this regard, Ibrahim Ahmad Abdul Karim states in the article إرسال غير قابل للتحنيط publishing سنة بالنيوزبيبر on 10th of June 1996. He said, no one imposed Haqiba songs upon the masters of modern Sudanese singing, yet all those who brought about the transition to modern song, such as Ibrahim al-Kashif, Hassan Atiyya, Ahmad al-Mustafa, Usman Hussein, Usman al-Shafi', and Abdul Aziz, Muhammad Dawood, perform Haqiba songs. Likewise, the great artists who came after them, such as Abdul Karim al-Kabli, Muhammad Wardi, and Muhammad al-Amin, did not turn away from Haqiba songs. Even youth bands active in neighborhoods continue, to varying degrees, to rely on Haqiba songs, not for any reason other than the fact that they are warmly received by Sudanese listeners who impart them with a complete ease.
شوفتك حبيبي وين انت
بالجمال بلغيت حير راويتها يا هوي هوي ليلى هوي ليلى هوي هوي ليلى
This view is further supported by Dr. Al-Fatih Al-Tahir, who argues that Haqiba songs enable Sudanese citizens to feel a living connection with the history of their homeland and society, fostering a sense of pride in the richness of Sudan's cultural heritage. As for Professor Abdel Halim Abu Qusaysa, he attributes the enduring, the eternity legacy of these works, Haqiba songs, to the quality and coherence of the artistic output, stating, I did not live in the time of Khalil Farah, nor did I live in the time of Al-Kashif. I do not possess sufficient knowledge of the details of their lives or even of their personal traits, yet they reside at the very core of my being, because of the art they left us. Art that continues to astonish us, remains at the forefront. This is not merely because we are culturally repetitive nation, but because their work possesses the qualities of endurance and eternity. I have no doubt that they will live on the consciousness of the next generation and those that follow for the same reason. Their art, it is the quality and completeness of the works they produced, the clarity and brilliance of their artistic project, and their capacity for permanence. Herein lies the paradox. Many whom I did live alongside, there is no need to name them. Some of whom were decent on a human level and not careless artistically, nevertheless failed, despite the advantage of modernity, to create any lasting artistic presence within me, and they will not succeed in doing so, even those still alive, because their artistic projects lacked and continue to lack vision, refinement, or both. And then the audience, following all these backgrounds about Haqiba songs, just I would like here to conclude the episode with these points regarding the eternity, the enduring legacy of Haqiba songs. So the eternity and the enduring legacy of Haqiba song is rooted in several key factors that played a decisive role in firmly establishing their tradition and embedding its poetry and melodies deep within the collective consciousness of the Sudanese nation. These factors include the rhetorical excellence and poetic structure, the religious factor, the environmental factor, the cultural and social factor, and finally, the factor of interaction and cultural contact. And before wrapping the episode, I would like just to point out to the sources that already have consulted to present the second part of our encounter with modern Sudanese singing. And these sources are المصادر الفكرية والمعرفية لأغنية الحقيبة part 1. It has been an article has been written by أيمن صديق الريح and published on الصحافة newspaper 8 of June 2010. Another source that I depend on موقع منتدى سماعي حقيبة الفن السودانية. By the way, this is an Arab website specialized on introducing Arab songs. And this forum, by the way, has provided the Sudanese song, mainly Haqiba. We saw a lot of articles. And among these articles, I consulted an article that had been published on 13 of January 2017. And finally, among the other sources that I depend on is that one of our late poet and critic, Dr. Asir Ahmed Gadour. His paper published in Sudanese Studies entitled Northern Sudanese Singing from 1908 to 1958. By this, the audience, I came to the end of our second encounter, and we have experienced part of the history of Haqiba songs. To seeing you in another episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.